And yo, I'm here to talk to y'all in real life.
What's hood? It's your girl K Lexi, and the In Real Life podcast is back at it with the Someone to Know series. Up next is Eric Scratchpaper Wilson. He's been spitting lyrical fire for years. Not only is he a champion spitboxer, but he's also that fire producer that keeps them beats for days. I'm telling you, don't sleep on him, because that's not all he's bringing to the table. In this exclusive interview, we will discuss his transition from music to acting along with his upcoming projects. This man seems to hold the key to longevity in the game for sure. Make sure you tap in. You don't want to miss this interview. Eric Scratchpaper Wilson, in real life, is someone to know.
Yo, what up, y'all? This is Eric Wilson, owner of Scratchpaper Productions. You know, rapper, MC, actor, sound engineer, all that stuff in between. And I'm here to talk to y'all. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing this for 38 years, producing different entities like Mo Thug, Members of Bone, Midwest Mafia, work with the Dungeon Family, Big Rube, things of that nature. And I'm here to talk to y'all right quick. What inspires me right now is just being creative. There's always a melody going on in my head, so I'm automatically, the whole foundation is inspiration. On top of that, I don't know, I guess I'm gonna say just wanting to create something new. I think I'm like just basically self-inspired. So, besides doing music production, what I do is I act, I write scripts, I do lighting. I'm a sound engineer. I'm an audio engineer. I host events, and mentor. Naturally, if you look at movies, there's always music behind the scenes. If there's no music in the scene, then you kind of lose emphasis or even interest in what they're talking about as far as the dialogue is concerned. So music is the backdrop of anything. So with me being naturally inclined to make music, I always heard music all the time. I'm talking about out in the streets, just kicking it, going to school. There's always a soundtrack to what's going on. So, and being creative, you just want to express yourself on another level. Once you get to a certain point, if you're a real creative person, you're going to naturally expound yourself into other things that people can see. It's a natural talent, it's a natural fire, it's a natural spirit in you to do almost anything as long as it's creative. So music and film are like cousins. If since the beginning of time, it's always been music in collaboration with film. So it was a natural progression. The advice that I would give artists that's trying to become an actor is to, number one, act. Even if you by yourself, just go ahead and practice. But as far as trying to become an actor and get into actual films and stuff, you got to network. You got to go to the auditions. You got to go and not lose, but actually don't get the part. You got to see what it is that you got to bring to the table to have what you need to even get the part. And then and that's all you got to do. You got to audition. Network. Go to different networking events in your community. I'm sure that there's some type of film festival coming up, and I'm sure that there's colleges and universities and people that you can network with, and get yourself, somehow aligned with the people that's doing what you want to do. But that's basically it. So right now I'm working with Daryl Moore. Daryl Moore played in big movies in Hollywood. I'm working with Brandon X. Bell. Brandon X. Bell was an up-and-coming, inspiring director and actor, award-winning actor and director right here in Cleveland, Ohio, doing a lot of things. Myron Phillips is an inspiring director that's making films right now. Really good films, really good writing, really good team of people behind this project. So that's what I'm doing at this point. As far it's easy. You got to use your calendar. You know what I mean? It's basically just scheduling yourself. If you are working a 9 to 5, then it's a harder process, but it can be done. You got to schedule this time, and you got to sacrifice. Sometimes you're not going to get a lot of sleep. Sometimes you will, but most of the time you won't because you're working a job. But if you're not working a job, it's all about scheduling, honestly. If you got the energy and you're really interested in the project, you have 24 hours, 7 days a week to slide in things you need to do. So it's really networking is one of the most critical things that can happen if you're trying to be any type of artist. I don't care what type of artist you're trying to be. It's always somebody that you need, that's basically that can become the middleman or liaison to you going to bigger and better things. But as far as for me, networking has been critical since I came home from the military. The first thing I do was start talking to people and going to different events and going to different networking events and talking to people and actually following up. If you talking to people and you talking to these important people or or your quote unquote peers that may or may not make it or run into something in the future, you have to follow up every now and then, reach out and build that relationship. So networking is not just about meeting people; it's about acquiring the information that you need to follow up and stay in contact with this person genuinely. So as far as networking. If you're not networking, you're probably not doing anything with your music, doing anything with your career, doing anything because everything is a collaborative effort. So the more you know, the more you grow. So you got to know these people. You got to get to know these people, and that's how important networking was. So one of the challenges that I went through and overcame was way back in the day when I found out through a reputable person in the music industry that I was being, I think the word is blacklisted. And it was happening in my own network of people, but it was like very low key, and I found out. So what I did was kept on doing what I had to do. In other words, you can't give up. You have to keep on doing it. If you really want to do something, if you want to be successful at something, even if you just want to be rich, period, or whatever you're trying to do. As long as that's your focus, and as long as you genuinely want to do that, every day, without you even knowing it, you're going to be going in that direction. After over 25 years in the industry, and going through all these different trends, hip hop lifestyles, forms of music, content, and just watching it evolve, me getting older while watching everybody else, come in at 18 years old, whatever you want to call it. How I stay relevant is easy because hip hop is a culture. So if you really part of the culture, you're not doing it for some ulterior motive or some weird reason, and you really is a hip hop person. I'm talking about somebody that respects all the elements of hip hop and everything. Then you're not really keeping up with it. You're moving, you're right along with it. You are it. People, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I stay inspired because I'm not really inspired. It's who I am. It's just like being black or something. You know what I mean? I can't stop being black. So I can't stop being a hip hop dude. So it's not really inspiration, to be honest. Even though things about it inspires me. You know what I'm saying? But if things about it wasn't inspiring me, I'd probably still be doing it because it's the language I actually talk. So always remember hip hop is a culture. So if you really enculturated with hip hop, even when the language changed, even when the slang changed, even when the fashions changed, you're not saying, "Ooh, I ain't never seen that before." You was right there as it was happening. You part of it. You know what I'm saying? So and that's why older hip hop dudes and younger hip hop dudes or girls, whatever you want to call it, can communicate still, can vibe still, can still have a conversation that's mutual, and it don't feel like one person is on some other side of the spectrum. Because if you really, really love hip hop, both of y'all can talk about anything within that comfortably. In the next 5 years, as far as hip hop culture, it would be nice to see things go back to the DJ scratching on a lot of the records. It would be nice to see groups again, like real hip hop groups. It would be nice to see people having vibe sessions in the studio, coming up with content. instead of just automatically writing some old quick murder shit. So, hip hop is, like I said earlier, when I was talking to somebody else, that it's very, very interdependent. It's interdependent, just like humans are naturally, and it's collaborative. So I would like to see hip hop get back to that, because the ideas will be more authentic, the content will be more authentic, and it would be more interesting overall. You know what I mean? And it would push the culture. You get more out of those type of situations than you get out of just saying what happened yesterday on the block. You know what I mean? We all know what happened yesterday on the block, and it's gonna happen tomorrow too. So the whole thing is about, like minds getting. And when you find yourself struggling mentally, trying to give up, and you feel it's like some obstacle that you can't overcome, always remember that you can overcome it. Everybody in life that thought that their situation was the end of all things, even if they were physically sick at a young age or whatever, they're 80 years old telling the story. So anything in your way, you got to remember that it's temporary, and you got to stay focused, and you got to do what you know you was here and what you called for.